to Wild and Weird Radio, a Wild and Weird West Virginia podcast.
Welcome back to Wild and Weird Radio, everybody. This week is going to be our special Wytheville UFO Festival recap, and we're going to be covering some other stuff too, just general news and whatnot. This week's episode kind of got a little wonky because Jess is out on assignment. As you can see, she had to work tonight, and we also have a special episode that we have planned that we're going to be having for you now next week, which is going to have author Mark Muncy of Erie, Florida, and we're actually going to be reviewing his book Erie, Appalachia, which is brand new, and by the time you listen to this, you should be able to order it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's Erie, I hear.
Hey, I've already read the book, and it's really good. I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to actually have Mark on and go over it and talk about it. So I think it's going to be a good episode. So let's talk about some fun news. This has nothing to do with wild and weird news. I mean, it's technically wild and weird news, but
yeah,
it's more news with us than anything.
Yeah.
We have some big things coming up in the future, guys.
And some small things that came up in the past recently.
Yeah. And it's really fun. We've got some cool things working out. We're working on some workshops, more workshops than what we already do. As you guys know, we've had the Bigfoot workshop. We're now putting together a paranormal workshop for everybody. So this is just going to be all you ghost hunters out there in anywhere in Appalachia, really, as long as you're willing to drive into Charleston, West Virginia area, you guys will be able to come. We're currently working out some little tweaks here and there that is going to make this paranormal workshop.
It's one of a kind,
a must attend for any real introductory.
It is a one of a kind, is what it is.
Agreed.
And we're not going to say any more about that.
Yeah,
because it's one of those surprise things that when you see it, yeah, you're gonna love it.
Yeah, because like in all honesty, our ideas get stolen and used a lot.
Well, you have to remember also,
so we can't share everything.
We make these things because it's something that we would like to see, and usually the things that we like to see as being investigators and researchers, other investigators and researchers really like once they see them. So you guys are gonna love it. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, that one is gonna be a blast.
And we're not going to no spoilers on this one. It's too awesome.
And in typical collective fashion, we're working with a intercollective research team. So for those of you guys who might be new to listening, and you've heard us mention the High Strangeness Collective.
Did you just say new to listening? You did. I'm pretty sure you said.
I might have, because my allergies are kicking my butt.
Okay. All right. Then.
So.
However you listen, we don't care how you listen. Just listen.
Yeah, so. if you want to listen sitting on the couch, as long as it's not a leather couch and 80-degree temperature naked that you have to peel yourself off of. I mean, that'd be kind of but anyway, for anybody who's new to listening to Wild and Weird Radio, like some of the people that we just hung out with this weekend, you might be new to what the collective is and how we perform. So one of the things that we do is the collective is a collective of researchers. Now that also means that we have other research teams that are part of the collective, and they're completely autonomous research teams, but we work together with with them, and they are part of the collective, and it's awesome
We
to
share
see these.
ideas. We bounce ideas off of each other. We share data. That's
Yeah,
basically what it is.
and it's awesome to see this kind of open source resource sharing, because in the past there's been just a lot of gatekeeping, and the dream of the collective was to build a research community of various researchers from various fields, so that way if we or anybody else in the collective came against a new phenomena or some kind of new evidence that needed to be reviewed and we might not have had experience with it, there probably is somebody who is part of the collective who has had experience with said evidence, and it gives you a place to come to a common ground and find people who can help. And we are doing this with another research team that is a part of the collective, and we can't wait to kick it off, because it's going to be a blast. So we
Speaking of blasts, I mean, this weekend was an absolute total blast.
that is, I think that is an understatement.
I can't. Yeah, it's totally an understatement.
So Robin and Brian
Wow.
Van Hoos, holy cow! Just
yeah.
Wow, you guys knocked it out of the park. For anybody who may have missed it, Ron and I were part of a 30-year anniversary festival for the Wytheville UFO sighting.
Yeah, we had some incredible. They had incredible vendors.
Yeah,
a lot of our friends were there, and it was just spectacular. The audience turnout was amazing. The receptions to the whole event was just amazing.
it really was. It was, and the coolest thing I think for me was that this is the first show that we have ever done where I'm willing to say 95% of the people that we spoke to were all new people.
They were.
That's, for us, that's new. For anybody who doesn't know the full history for me and Ron, we are part of the reptile community as well. We've been doing that since 2011, and we found a congruency between the reptile community and the cryptid paranormal group. When we go to the reptile shows, even up in Chicago, we would see people from Mothman Festival or from the Ohio Bigfoot Festival.
Yeah, everybody was friends, so they would all stop by the table and they would hang out for hours, and that's normal with us.
And for the first time in that history, we actually met like an entire slew of new people. And Wytheville, Virginia is only 2 hours from here.
Yeah.
We are not very far from Wytheville at all.
No.
But it was our first time that we ever been to Virginia, and done a show. Like we've gone to events in Virginia, but we've never been a part of them. And this was our first showing in Virginia, and it was absolutely stellar. We really, really appreciate you guys. I cannot speak highly enough of everybody that was there.
Yeah, it was an amazing turnout. We've never had a show where we had that kind of a reception. So
we've never had a show where the Men in Black showed up at our table and stayed there the whole
all day. Yes,
like
exactly. Yes, Agent
So
T.
Troy, if you were listening, my friend, that was one of the coolest things that has ever happened at one of the shows.
Yes. I mean, sometimes a Wookiee may come up to us and give us a high five, but we've never had the Men in Black stand guard at our table, literally all day.
Yeah, and Troy was actually like one of our best salesmen.
Yeah, absolutely.
He hung out at the table, and because Troy was actually a witness to the flap, and he picked up as soon as he got in there, everybody is familiar with the triangle ship. Everybody's familiar with that. That was one of the crafts that were seen. But there was also another design that we'll insert here because we actually sold all of them but one, and it's up in the garage. But for those of you guys who want to see it, it's here. And he came up to it and he picked it up off the table, and his reaction was priceless.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty much confirmed that it was spot on. He had got a very good look at that craft. So
yeah, and he said that if when in his younger days, if he would have been able to had a model like what he held in his hand in that moment, that it would have just been something that he could have used to explain to people what he saw.
Yeah.
Because he said he tried as much as he could, but could never really get the full description down for people to really visualize it. And this model did it. So we actually gave him number 000.
Yep. He has the master actually, or right.
He does. He got the master copy.
So yeah. So that's really cool. You guys who did get to get those, you have something very, very cool. That was the first release of that part of the fleet. We now have, how many do we have now?
We got
3,
1, 2,
4?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scale model UFOs.
Okay.
And one scale model Quimbaya.
Yeah, the Quimbaya. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, those were a pretty good hit, I would say. And
absolutely. And
really
for anybody who missed it, here's a shot right here of the Indrid Coldcraft. This made its debut at the Wytheville Festival. We've been sitting on this for some time, and finally released it. The craft was described as being a hurricane bell, and when you turn it up on its side, it looks like a hurricane glass. So this is based off of Woody Derenberger's experience and his description. This is as accurate as we can produce. And there's panel lines in this too. You can't see it just because of the collar of the item here, but there's panel lines and there's detail that you can't see. Really, really cool piece.
Yeah, it's a really nice one. I modeled it with a lot of detail. Took a little bit of artistic liberty with it, but not too much. It's still what it is.
And to accompany your Indrid Cold craft, we actually have an Indrid Cold.
Yeah.
So that's something you'll be able to pick up too.
Yeah, that was not available, however. But yeah, the show was amazing. We had some incredible people who came over to our table and shared stories with us. The accounts that they shared were just absolutely amazing. So many accounts. People who just wanted to just verification that they weren't alone, that they had seen something and they were not crazy. And it was a great time, and it was great meeting everybody and having them open up to us and go over that kind of stuff with us.
Yeah, it really was. It was such a cool experience. The event itself the venue was gorgeous. The lineup for speakers was absolutely fantastic. Everybody had a great time, and we were so surprised at the reception that we got with our talk. I mean, it was literally standing room only. There were people standing along the back wall, almost the full length of the room.
In 5 minutes into the start of it. So
yeah,
it was something, and it was really cool to have that kind of a turnout for something that literally just started as a scribble, around 30 years ago in a notebook, related phenomena. It was
Yep.
just me scribbling out ideas and trying to figure out, does this stuff does it make that much of a sense that it could all be the same? And even then, I didn't have half the data that I have now. I mean, now I'm pretty much convinced. Back then, it was just an idea. Like, could it be? I still say, could it be? I don't say it is, but for me, it is. I think that there's a very, very good case that these phenomena are kind of related. So, and that's what it
Yeah.
was about. And apparently, a lot of other people thought so too. They really at the end of it, when everybody came up and started just asking questions, and I don't know, I still can't quite fathom what happened there. That was amazing.
It really was. So everybody who showed up, thank you so much. Everybody who bought stuff and took collectibles home, again, thank you guys for supporting us and what we do, and for all the new
Huge
listeners.
shout out for the Moth Boys there.
Oh yeah,
Mike,
we're going to talk about them. Make it
Mikey,
their own segment.
Mikey. Without him, we couldn't have got the video, and I'm very grateful for that, because I never have anyone who's usually out there taking the video of it,
Right.
unless it's my wife, and she couldn't be with us on this one. She was doing something else at work. So
Yeah, normally it's just like a GoPro on a tripod or something like that, and
and
hopefully we
it's
get
just
it.
not that good. Yeah, exactly. But Mikey got some great footage. So
Yep.
huge thanks.
So again, like just going back to the Moth Boys, they were there. They were one of the vendors. It was great getting to hang out with them again. They're always a blast to be around at the shows. They've really become part of the family. Like
Whether they wanted to or not.
whether they wanted to or not, yeah,
Yes.
they've really become part of the family. And when we go to shows and they're not there, we're kind of bummed out, because we always like to sit and talk and hang out with them. So it was great seeing Matt and Mike and getting to hang out with you guys again. We really need to sit down and like just hang out outside of one of these events one day, because
Well, I finally got to talk to Matt, and I've been threatening him with that for a while, and it
yeah,
happened. So we finally got some time to sit and talk, and
good.
it was a good talk. He shared a very personal sighting account, what made him basically come in to believe in this stuff, and it was great. It was great just hearing those kinds, and it wasn't just Matt. There was all these people who were coming up
Yeah.
and telling us these things, and it was great to see. You were just among people who had all had a brush with something. They didn't know what it was, but they all had this commonality, and it was really really good to be around people like that.
It really was. And then one of the things that just blew me away was, like, aside from the amount of people who sat there for an hour and a half talk with us in person. I mean, you guys sit with us for an hour and a half every week and listen to the radio show, but these were new people. These were there were a handful that actually knew us from the show. And for those of you guys who are avid listeners who came to meet us, so cool. But was after the talk when we went back to the table, and it felt like half of the room followed us
It was
back
weird.
to the table.
Yeah, it was weird. There were actually a line at the table waiting for people waiting to talk to us about their experiences. And
Yeah.
like I said, that was we've had small events like that before, but nothing like this. This was pretty amazing, and we're still just super grateful to you guys that you would trust us with those stories. Know that they are safe. Know that they are not part of some book or some something. Those are personal experiences that you shared with us, and we're very grateful for those.
Yeah. And it was awesome.
If you ever want to come on the air and talk about them, you're more than welcome.
Which Pam will be on with us soon. She's supposed to get a hold of us. Pam is an absolute trip, guys. You will love listening to her stories. She's a former LEO, and she's got some good ones.
And hopefully we can nail down Troy at some point. And get
oh
him on
yeah,
here.
Troy, I got a feeling Troy's going to be a reoccurring guest.
Yeah, he has so many stories. I mean, we could literally just have episodes
We could, because he's
series,
also a paranormal investigator. He
which
doesn't
is
just
incredible.
do the cosplay thing, or also him having a encounter. But his encounter ultimately did drive him in the same direction that it did us, which was investigation and paranormal follow-ups and going out and doing the thing.
Yep.
And so Troy, we cannot wait to have him on. He's one of the coolest people that we've ever had in over a decade of what we do.
Yep.
And
made the day.
Absolutely made the day. It would not have been the same without Troy, hands down. And Troy's also part of the Wytheville Ghostbusters. It's him and his kids. They've got the car, they've got the packs, they've got the ghost trap. They got it all, and it's just so cool. These guys are great. We love them. Oh, and Ron, do you remember anything about the neuralizer at all?
The what?
Yeah, that's what I figured. So Troy also had a neuralizer, and Ron might have used it from the wrong end. if you've been on any of our social media,
tasted purple for a little bit there. I thought it was a hot dog.
Right. Yeah, that was so cool. Actual props and stuff like that. It's fun to see. So what else do we have? Because we've got some other stuff going on too. Wild and Weird Con is about to snowball, guys. The energy and excitement behind Wild and Weird Con 2022 is reminiscent of what it was in 2019 when we were originally promoting the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And it is shaping up to be a great show. We have great speakers, same great venue, a lot of new vendors, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of new vendors, and a bunch of the same ones that were there previously. So we can't wait, absolutely can't wait to start rolling out some more info for you guys, which actually should be occurring by the time you've listened to this episode.
Oh yeah. You've seen the small insert trailer at this point. The ad. That series, that there'll be a couple more of those, but hopefully we'll be able to reveal some stuff in those as time goes on. So you want to pay attention to those.
Yep, they're going to be awesome. We again at Wild and Weird Con, we have workshops all day as well as speakers. And these workshops are paranormal, Bigfoot, ufology, you name it. We have leaders in the field from everywhere that are going to be helping with these workshops, again, just like we did last year. So it's one of the big key features that we are so proud of with Wild and Weird Con. And everybody had a huge turnout for those. Like last year, they all loved the workshops as much as they liked the speakers. So it was good to see that new dynamic of a show worked really, really well. And hopefully that'll continue, and we'll see more and more people continue to use that same blueprint.
Well, August. So one of the more exciting things about this Wild and Weird Con is that it's going to be like a week before Halloween.
Oh yeah, it's during spooky season, guys.
So we're gonna probably see a lot of people kind of decked out for that as well. And matter of fact, it's probably gonna be within your best interest to do so.
Yep. There may or may not be a contest.
No spoilers at this point. Just keep watching the ads, and you'll figure out what's going on. But if I were you and you were into cryptids and maybe cosplay, something like that, I would think about maybe being there.
Yeah,
possibly.
I've got a good feeling there will be Men in Black and possibly Ghostbusters.
I've got a feeling there's going to be some wild and weird stuff happening.
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
We've got also coming up, we will be speaking at the Mothman Festival.
Yeah.
So that's the next place that everybody's going to be able to catch us in person. Is at the Mothman Festival.
Well, actually, Cryptid Bash is before that, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Cryptid Bash is August the 6th. So you'll be able to catch us there in person.
But we're not speaking there, so but
Yeah.
you'll be able to come up and say hi. But yeah, Mothman will be the next speaking engagement, and you're gonna like it.
Yep. It's going to be an absolute trip because the Mothman Festival is the largest paranormal gathering in the world.
I wonder how many people we've sent to the Mothman Festival. So many people that we
Yeah.
have actually talked to at these festivals. Like, well, I've never made it. Like, you got to go.
You have to go.
You got to
There's
go.
nothing
Look,
like
guys. Here's the fact. Here's the fact. Okay, we don't get paid by the Mothman Festival. We are not getting any kind of kickbacks, anything,
Nope.
whatsoever. When we say go to the Mothman Festival, it's because if you like this stuff, you will love the Mothman Festival. It is a absolute party.
Yeah, it is. And when we say it's the largest gathering in the paranormal community in the world, we're not kidding. Like,
No,
it
it's
literally
huge.
is.
I got a
Something
feeling
like
this year is going to
25,000
be
people.
well. This year's
descend
going to
on
be massive. There's no question.
Yeah, this year's going to be crazy because we've been 2 years now without a Mothman Festival. And so the return of the Mothman is imminent.
Yeah.
And
Did you say the return of the Mothman is imminent?
this September.
Ah,
Yep.
okay.
I got a feeling there might be an actual Mothman there.
Maybe. I don't know.
There's a possibility. So, because everybody's so pumped for it, there might be a manifestation.
There could be a manifestation if we all believe really hard. Everybody, like now, who's listening to the show, let's just see if we can do this, okay? Every single one. I'm going to count to 3, all right? And when I get to 3, everyone's going to think Mothman Point Pleasant, okay? That's what we're going to do. And what's the date, Joe? What's the date? Do you
It's
remember?
going to be September the 18th.
All right, so let's manifest Mothman on September
And 19th.
Let's do the 19th. Let's have him show up on the 19th. Is that good?
Sure.
All right then. So when I go 1, 2, 3, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. There we go. Mothman's going to be there. Thanks to you guys. So you all did that.
Then after Mothman, we will have it's like a couple days, and then we are going to be making an appearance, our first Wild and Weird appearance in Pennsylvania.
Yep. Yep.
May
So
or
we've
may
gone
not be on the
south,
Chestnut Ridge.
and we've gone north. It's inevitable next that we go west, probably.
Yeah.
That's just something that may happen next year.
We got to go farther west than Chicago at this point.
Yes, we do.
We got to stretch them wings out because we've been to Pittsburgh, we've been to Chicago, so we got to go beyond Chicago now. We might got to hit New Mexico.
There could be something out there next year.
Very well could be.
I don't know, but
Got
anyway.
our fingers crossed.
Manifest.
We need to start selling books now. So we'll be making an appearance at this thing called Brewfest. Bigfoot Brewfest, I think, is actually the full name of it. But it's going to be on the Chestnut Ridge, and it's going to be a blast because it's the Chestnut Ridge, and the Chestnut Ridge is an epicenter of high strangeness.
What could go wrong?
Right? What could go? Because it's going to be Stan Gordon's going to be there. We're going to be there.
Yeah.
Eric Altman's going to be there. Dave Spinks is going to be there. What more could anybody really want? It's going to be an absolute blast.
Yeah, well, it's on the Chestnut Ridge, so
Yeah,
it could be a lot of things. I mean, it's kind of like having a disco party at Skinwalker Ranch.
pretty much. That's exactly right. So we can't wait. Going to be great food, great drinks.
Good
you guys
times.
definitely want to check that out. We'll have more info on that as closer we get to the day.
Yeah, it's out there. It's out there.
Then let's. Do you want to share any stories from yesterday?
What stories you want to share? What
I'm
are you
saying
thinking?
from yesterday, from the festival.
What are you thinking? I had an amazing taco salad on the way home.
Oh, right.
Because I was starved. One thing about doing these festivals is, and there was food there, by the way.
There was food, and the food was actually really good.
Really good food.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We only had a hot dog. It's all we had a chance to get. But we saw everybody else eating other things, and they seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, I had an amazing taco salad from Wendy's, which I know that that's not really a taco salad. I know what you guys do. I know you take the lettuce that no one wants to eat and you chop that up and you throw it into a bowl and then you pour some of your delicious chili on top. And I know your delicious chili is made of scrap hamburgers that, don't make it off the grill, but that's okay because it's really delicious and I like it. But no, for real, it was really good,
Well,
and
I mean,
it's
it was over 12 hours
yeah,
that
that's
we
what I'm
didn't really
saying.
get to,
Yeah,
because we left here
yeah,
at dark 30 in the morning
yeah.
and made it there, set up, and we didn't get to eat. And it
No,
was 7:45, I think, when we stopped to eat.
that was real food. Yeah, we got
Yeah,
our
it was
hot dog
for
on the
real
run,
food. We went all day without
but
real
yeah,
food.
yeah, yeah. But it's okay. It's one of those sacrifices that you do when you do this
Yeah,
stuff. You either like it or you don't. So
yeah,
obviously we like it.
and we love it, so
So
we
there's
keep
that.
doing it.
But no, I mean, what stories you thinking?
Well, the one of the things
What comes to
that
your mind? What was something?
for me, and this is something that we see periodically. This isn't really exclusive to this event per se, but there's a lot of folks that perceive the UFO phenomena as like demonic and evil,
Oh
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
we even talked about this during the congressional hearing.
Yes, we did. Yes,
And whenever stuff started leaking out prior to the congressional hearing, where they were saying they didn't want to deal with this because it's demonic,
that's
um,
right. Yeah.
and I think it's really hard to put that label on something unless you are 100% sure what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And for
It's like
me,
saying lightning is demonic.
yeah, which back in the day, lightning probably did look very imposing and
Yeah.
was scary and considered evil, which is why still to this day in horror movies you see these flashes of lightning in the back of the screen because they incite terror.
Yeah, that's true.
um, and we have these things, especially like when they're misunderstood.
Yes.
Anything misunderstood instantly catches the label of evil.
Well, Joe, that's a belief system.
It
And
is, and it really, it's sad. It's a sad belief system. It's one of the sadder belief systems. 'Cause I'm sure there probably are some things that aren't nice,
oh yeah.
but
Yeah.
we don't know everything about what's out there.
No,
That's the bad part.
no, we don't. But yeah, labeling things and just refusing to even entertain the possibility or thinking it's wrong to even ask the question.
Yeah,
No,
and
that's primitive thought. We've moved beyond primitive thought at this point.
what was the thing though that was really interesting was beyond that there were actually two other pastors who were there that came up and spoke with me separately, and they, after they found out that I was a minister in the past, that, and we sat and we talked about certain verses and texts and different books in scripture and in what would be considered religious canon, that clearly speak of these weird and strange things happening all the way back then.
Yeah.
And it just affirms kind of what we have going on now is not new.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what happened after our little lecture there.
Yeah,
We got a lot of people who did come over to the table, and it was really nice to see. We've seen it before, but never in this mass quantity, and uh, it was really cool for them to be able to stand in front of us and say, I feel okay now saying that I saw this, or this doesn't go against my belief system. This doesn't, you know, contradict anything. It makes it actually a little more understandable. And I understand that because that's exactly what I had to go through.
yeah,
That's a road, that's a path that you take, and you come out on the other side of that wherever you come out at. And it was really good to see these people actually doing that and thinking about it and realizing it's okay. You can still have spiritual beliefs, and still think that there may be life on other planets or other
Yeah.
dimensions, et cetera, et cetera.
It doesn't interfere with that
Doesn't interfere
whatsoever.
with that. It does not.
But it's really, and I think it really goes back to some of the more puritanical teachings. That essentially all things misunderstood or not understood are of the devil.
Yeah.
Because we see it a lot. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. You go to YouTube right now and just type that phrase in, that UFOs and demons, you're gonna get search after search. Like, it's just gonna be page after page after page of content that is made around that topic. And we are of a strange ilk in the sense that we don't support the theory.
No, we can't
because
support
there's
theory because if
so many that do.
Well, their logic is like this: if it's from, if they're demons, they're fallen angels. That's what I'm always told. They're fallen angels. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so they're angels. Got you. Okay, good. Next
So if
question.
you're saying that
They don't like
UFOs
that
and
part
stuff,
though. So
yeah, they don't, because that they're okay with calling them fallen angels. But
Yes.
then when you say, okay, cool, we can let's just hypothetically agree, then that means that non-fallen angels are also aliens.
Yeah. Yeah. See, so they don't like that. So
Yeah, that's when they're like, well,
yeah. So anyway, pretty much what that comes down to is just labels, and we've said it multiple millions of times. It's
yeah,
labels, 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 guys. So, but I'm so happy that we didn't have to deal with anything like that. These people were so nice.
yeah,
They were warm. They were inviting. It was not to say that we don't have that here in West Virginia, but at some of the reptile shows we've been at, come on, let's be real. Let's call
right,
it what it is. Some people don't even want to look at you. At
yeah,
this one, it was, yeah, okay. What do you got? And you're not even trying to sell them anything. You're just, sitting there trying to hear their stories.
yep.
But it almost seemed like everybody who told us a story bought something, which was another
Which was really cool.
amazing thing, and
It
we
really,
really
really
appreciate that.
was. Bunch of cookbooks are out there. Bunch of the
Yes.
Dave's new UFO books out there.
Yes, we sold a lot of those. Signed a few books
Yeah,
along the way. That's right. The cookbook was a big hit again. Cooking with
always.
Cryptids. I think it's the coleslaw.
It's got to be the
I
coleslaw.
think it's the Indrid coleslaw.
Because that's the sell pitch.
Yeah.
We tell them about the family story, and then they're like, "Oh, I gotta try this yellow coleslaw." Well, it's in this book. You can have it today.
And then, of course,
and
the UFO book.
Yep.
Real West Virginia UFOs. The revised edition with the art that I provided for that, and a couple of accounts that we've got at the collective in there. So really good sellers. So it was
absolutely great. We got to hang out with former director of MUFON's Star team as well.
Yeah,
that was really fun.
That really actually was fun.
Because all of our experience with MUFON prior to yesterday has been an absolute drag.
Well, it was negative,
Yeah, it's all
and
negative,
I don't mean
except for with him.
And I won't say that. Well, there's one other, but I think he's in California. He's pretty cool.
Well, that guy that we spoke to from there, like, he also does independent stuff as well.
But this is the thing, even he admitted, there were issues, and they're trying to fix those issues. So who knows? Maybe one day they'll actually get their stuff together, and boy, wouldn't it be nice if they did. But yeah, that was a great conversation. That was an incredible conversation, and I wish we could go over it, but we can't.
And he was very interested in our take on things, so I'm excited to see where this new relationship we got is going to go.
Yeah, we had a few of those yesterday. So,
absolutely.
So we can talk a little bit about the the presentation. Like I said, luckily we had it recorded. some of it. So we have some highlights and outtakes from it and whatnot. But it was just everyone who's listened to the show from
Well,
episode one.
if you just go back a few episodes, Paranormal Potpourri, that was a good primer for it.
It was a good primer. I think the absolute best primer has been there's been these little breadcrumbs dropped all throughout the series, right? From episode one, origin story on. I told a little bit about my story, and then I became more okay with telling a little bit more and a little bit more of it, and believe me, that's taken time. This is not something that you just readily go out and say, okay, well, I saw a UFO, or, well, okay, it's one thing to see you've seen a UFO. It's another thing to say, well, I may have had some kind of contact experience, and still don't call it alien, though. By the way, just letting you know. Just like I don't call that one thing Mothman, right? It's the same thing, because we don't know. And I think that's important to understand, because we do get so many people come up and they're like, oh, well, so you believe in alien abductions and da da da. Well, I don't call them abductions, though. See, I call them contact experiences. Of course, there are some people who want to call it that, and that's perfectly fine. These are labels. But I also talked to people who stood at my table yesterday in front of me, and they said, these weren't negative experiences, that they did have a contact experience. They weren't negative. They weren't, poked and prodded or anything like that. They were simply contacted, and they can't remember everything. And, there's a lot of that. But for whatever reason, we don't focus on those stories. We only focus on the other stories.
It's only on the negative stuff, because the negative stuff sells.
It sells. Yeah. It's more interesting to have this
Fire in the Sky book than it is to have a peace, love, and hippie grease book.
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's kind of true. I mean, but maybe it's both. That's the whole thing. We don't know. We've said this multiple times before too, right? So, but so it was a good lecture. It started out with that, and we moved on. And this time, instead of just a little bit of speculation, we actually showed correlations and data, and we painted a pretty good picture, I think, as to the possibility that these things could be related.
Yeah.
And our number one star of the show, of course, orbs.
Yeah.
Orbs. UAP. I don't
sentient balls of light.
Sentient balls of self-illuminating light. Yes, that's the thing. And we even showed some photos at the end of the presentation of that and whatnot too. But so many people had sightings, and it was I think we're onto something. That's what I'm trying to get at. I just think we're onto something with this.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, guys, we'll run some clips and stuff. You'll be able to hear some of what we've talked about, and if you're listening to the show, highly encourage you to come over to the YouTube channel, because you're going to actually be able to see some of the pictures and the footage that we were able to get, and actually visualize some of what we're talking about. If you want to follow us on our social media accounts, you can find us at Lanham on Instagram. Go check out Hellbent Jessi on Instagram, and go to YouTube and type in Hellbent Holler, and check out everything that is going on over there in Jessi's world and the realm of Hellbent Holler. You don't want to miss it, because they are doing cutting edge research in the field and recording it and preserving it and doing an absolutely fantastic job. If you would like to support the show, you can get a hold of us at wildandweirdwv.com. Maybe we can work out a sponsorship where we run commercials for you on our show. If you want to help support in other ways, you can go to wildandweirdwv.com, where you can go to our shops and visit all of the different plethora of shops that we have, and maybe take yourself home one of those new fancy squonk shirts and melt yourself into tears. Also, you can find us literally anywhere podcasts are found. If you wanted, you can just tell your Google phone, hey Google or Alexa, to listen to Wild and Weird Radio, and it's going to do it right there for you, because we are friends with the AI.
Well, we have to be.
Yeah, it's, assimilate or die.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then, lastly, if you yourself has had a sighting and you would like to report your sighting, head over to wildandweirdwv.com, click on the sightings tab, and you're going to be directed to our standardized sighting report form. That'll automatically submit to our email account, and one of us will be in contact with you shortly.
Yeah,
Now,
and if you want to come on the show and you've had an experience, you're willing to share it, also contact us.
yeah, we'd love to have you on the show to share your experience.
Yep. All right,
So,
Joe, go ahead, do your weird thing.
remember, until next time, as long as you can swim, there's always potatoes. Stay wild and weird, everybody.
That checks out.
Hey folks, how you doing? We're about ready for our next speakers. We've got two right now, and this is Ron Lanham and Joe Perdue. They're from Wild and Weird, West Virginia. They're researchers in UFOs and cryptids and other such paranormal topics. Here you go, guys. Take it away.
Woo! All right, ready? Okay, go ahead. Everybody, hands up now. 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's perfect. Give yourself the round of applause.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Well, I guess we're going to start out this thing from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, as
That's
you
us.
can tell, this is not going to be your typical presentation because there is not one but two of us. And there was once before that we were speaking, oh, we got more people coming. We got more people coming.
Something.
Somebody told me that I was a wrestling hype man, so I was like the ring announcer. So, this is the Wild and Weird tag team presentation. That's how we're going to do this. This is a tag team operation. We host a podcast. So, coming to you from West Virginia, weighing in at a combined weight of 425 pounds, we have Ron Lanham and Joe Perdue of Wild and Weird, West Virginia, and the West Virginia High Strangeness Collective, the official paranormal ambassadors of the world.
That was good, actually. Thank you. That's probably the best introduction that we have ever had. As he said, we do all that stuff plus more. We're also on Wild and Weird Radio. We will go over all of that at the end. Yeah. We have all had individual paranormal experiences and whatnot through our career. I guess it's career, right? Sort of.
I think so.
Life,
Yeah, that's what we'll
career.
call it.
It's all the same, really. But let's go up here to the next one. That's our latest endeavor, and that's kind of where a lot of the I don't know, it kind of started ages ago, honestly, but this is where it's at now, and this is our research.
And fun fact for you guys, this is the first time that I've seen the collective's new logo, and it is awesome.
Oh, you like that? I thought I showed you once.
No,
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, the new logo. Okay, so anyway, just to give you a little bit of background, because that's what you do with these things. You have to tell everyone your origin story. So I will do that now. I will tell you my origin story. I am the co-host of Wild and Weird Radio, co-owner with blah, 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 all that stuff, right? Yeah. Professional, here, this is my thing. I am a photographer, I am a musician, professional artist. If you guys were over at our table, there was a book there. I did the art on that. I redid the book art for another one of Dave Spink's things. We have both been in the Small Town Monsters documentaries. I was in Mothman Legacy, and Joe was on the trail. Yeah, that one. On the trail of UFOs, Dark Sky. He's also been in some other stuff, and I'll let him tell you about that now.
Well, some of the other stuff you might recognize me from if you watch the Discovery Channel, Travel Channel, any of those lights, or Discovery Plus. I was on the last episode of Finding Bigfoot, where we brought them out to one of our research sites. The whole episode was actually spurned on by the fact that we went out into the field on a hot report and collected data and recorded it in real time and put it out there for everybody to see in real time. And that kind of set some fires under some people. They were needing a reunion episode. Boom, there we go. Let's go out here and hang out with Joe because we know this guy. He's crazy. We love him. Let's go do it. So that's how that turned out, and it went great. If you've seen the episode, it was really fun. We had a good time. And my big thing is I like Bigfoot research, obviously, but I know enough well into the UFO stuff because of my experience in the U.S. Air Force. I was a sheet metal fabricator. Basically, I was a special materials technician, meaning resins, fiberglass, stealth technology, things of that nature. Kind of translates into what we do with Wild and Weird West Virginia a lot because of the special materials that we use to create our products and collectibles for you guys to take home from your shows. Except for the stealth stuff, we need to work on getting some stealth material for our projects.
No, it's there, you just can't see it.
So we started the collective shortly after starting Wild and Weird West Virginia. We needed a distinguishing entity, really, to kind of separate from the art business side of things. Because a lot of people just associated what we did and us with our art that we had on our tables, and not the fact that we were actually out in the field beating foot and collecting data on a regular basis. So the collective was born from that. And the collective's initiative is to build a community in an open source environment where we are working with other researchers on a regular basis, and there are research teams that operate independently from us, but are still a part of the collective. And it gives a giant networking opportunity for researchers of all things paranormal, all things high strangeness, so UFOs, paranormal, specters, ghosts, psychic activity, Bigfoot, cryptids, you name it, we're all under one umbrella.
So, one of the things that the main thing today is called related phenomena. Now, what that typically, what it is it's basically the unified field theory of the paranormal. This is something I came up with, and you may hear it now. Every now and again, people are kind of coming up to realize that this may be something.
But nearly 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was in the 90s. And so the unified field theory of the paranormal